Hello, hello, hello! It's time once again for Red Rhino Nation Hello. And Chief and I are going to do our recap this evening for the CWL Lite war against Golden League. So Chief, how are you doing?
Doing great, Drummy. How are you?
I am good. I think we're both a little tired because these wars wear you out, basically. That's what happens. You and I are both on voice most of the war, pretty much. So it gets a little bit tiring, but we are here because we are on most of the war. We know a lot of the different attacks that happened, so that's why we're going to go ahead and go through them. So are we ready to just jump in and see what happened?
Okay.
Let's do it. Here we go, and 84 to 89. They did a great job. You know, obviously they got two 12v12s. One of our bases held. They had, I do not know how many, 7 11v11s maybe? So they only had to dip a couple.
Yeah, I think so.
It was 6 or 7. Which we wake up, they're already basically done. We know what we have to do. So the reason why we had 84, we had to take some chances, and basically go for less stars without dips so that we had enough attempts at 12v12. So we just couldn't do it this time. But we're going to go ahead and go through some attacks and check out the six-packers. So let's just check out the map here, see if I can clickety-click in the right spots. So we'll look at the six-packers first. Let's look from the bottom here. And we had Zeus coming in with a six-pack. Myself, Miss Dazey. Yay, finally, it's about time. Evo, good job to you, buddy. And he was so hoping for a 12-pack. He was close. Sticky Finger, aka Andy, Stickman, and I think that is it. So those were the ones that had the six-packs, and so we'll go ahead and check out a couple of attacks. We'll do a few of the six-packers as well as one other bonus one. So I think our plan is to get in 3 Town Hall 10s, 3 Town Hall 11s. So are we ready to do this?
Yep.
Let's go for it. Let's go over to the map, and we are going to start, it looks like, at the bottom with my attack on number 30. Yes, it is. So let's go ahead and check out mine on 3, 2, 1. And I hit relatively early on this one. I'm doing a lot of the drag storm right now, and it was just a matter of, which AD do I want my queen to take out, and there were several of us on planning, so we decided to go ahead and take out that AD over there at 9. It's pretty easy for the queen to get in there, relatively not risky, essentially. And they had a lot of them. I'm clicking on the CC because they did have a lot of the ADs in locations where either, it was protected by the CC was going to get drawn, or a queen, king was there, something. So we had to really think about some of these on how we were going to do our little dragon attacks, but we decided to go ahead and do this. Put the king was another key on this one, having him over at 3, because if you notice, the barbs and the king are drawing all the fire for quite a while, so that the slammer and the drags are not getting hit. So that was a big reason why we did what we did with the king over there. And you can see I'm clicking on the slammer. It's still pretty much full health. I go in there with the rage, and the only thing that happened was one of the barbs, you'll see here comes the hound, one of the barbs pulled the hound out, and I had no idea. I was just, thinking, okay, just watching the slammer, waiting for it to open up so that I can use my haste, and meanwhile, the dragons are, hanging out over there getting some air skellies and taking care of pups, and
your poison's just growing dust, yeah.
Yeah, poison's just sitting there, and you'll see, I'm going to go ahead and 2 times it, because you'll see I actually poisoned 1 pup. I put it down, because I think somebody was like, the pups are there, and I was like, oh boy, so I put it down, and yeah, it was completely useless, but, I'm still loving this attack, and several of us are. There are so many bases that you can use it on, and we'll see that on another one of the attacks, but so that felt good for me to go ahead and get 2 fresh 3 stars and help us get on a roll. And our 10s killed it this war, so great job to the 10s. We're going to go ahead and move it up to number 23. I think, in fact, our 10s, they gave us 4 hits, you know, so we were able to do 10 V12s and 2 10 V11s. So good job to you guys. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Frank, who's another one who he comes in right at the beginning of war, calls bases, and gets in there, and he's usually the first couple hits. So we're going to look at this one because for him, he's usually a Queen Charge Lalo. And let's just check out what he did in 3, 2, 1. What is this? A hog attack? And not even any kind of a Queen Charge hog. Nothing. It is straight up hogs, you know, just a go-ho. You know, old-fashioned go-ho. Look at you go, Frank. Way to go, buddy. So he comes in with the 2 golems. And let's see, and it was funny too because when I got on, I didn't see this one live, but everybody was like, "Did you see what Frank did?" You know? And good for him. We're gonna go ahead and 2 times it just to make sure we can get through this. But you know, he's got a nice funnel there. Make sure that he gets his troops in. It looks like some Valks were in the CC. Looks like his queen goes to the outside, but he has Valks in his. No, he has bowlers, it looks like, in there. So they take down the queen, no problem. And it actually works out okay that his queen goes over to the side because look at his hogs. He just now put down his first heel. And he goes ahead, puts his other heel in the back there by the king. He has a freeze still. The queen's up. He pretty much slaughtered this base. The king, king even comes back out and helps clean up the other side. It was just a great plan by him, and it worked out fantastic. So you go, Frank, on your hog attack. Good job, buddy. And 100. There we go. Finished it. Okay, so that's the second Town Hall 10. We're racing right along. Let's go ahead and move up to, I believe it is number 16, for Sticky Finger, who is our recruiter. Co-leader. I mean, he does a bunch of stuff for us, and he is killing it this season. I think he has 75% hit rate. We looked it up earlier.
Yep, that's right.
So here's his fresh hit. You go, Sticky, and this is an idea that you can use this Drag Storm on just about anything. So we're going to check this out in 3, 2, 1. So this is one of those bases that for me, when I was looking over them, I'm thinking, I don't really like dragons on this one, but both he and Andy can figure out a way to do this Dragon Storm on pretty much any base. I don't think there's one that they basically said, no, I wouldn't do that on. You know, they might say, I don't necessarily like it as much, but this base to me, I don't know that I would do it. But you see that he's using his 2 baby dragons on each side. He's got that dragon over on the Town Hall. The queen, of course, is going to get one of the ADs. He already zapped his 2. That's another thing that we've been trying to do is just do the zaps at the beginning. Then you don't have to mess around with, you know, zooming in or missing the zaps because that can happen, believe it or not. So he's got all of his dragons down at the bottom, and you see he went ahead and just put the hound right and a couple loons right at that AD, which I love. So I really like how he planned that out instead of, you know, because that was one thing I wasn't sure about on this is how do I want to bring the dragons in, and he does a really good job bringing them in at the diagonal. Hound is still up, killing it. Looks like the slammer's at about 3/4 health, and then he gets his dragons splitting. Okay, it's, you know, still okay because his slammer's up. As long as you have that slammer up and it's taking the heat for, you know, even a couple dragons, which is what's happening here, it's game over. So we'll go ahead and 2 times it through because he's going to get his haste ready as soon as it pops here so that his loons can just take care of that Tesla farm. No problem. There they go. And base over. So nice plan by you, Stick, and again, good job this season. He's 75, and I think our number 1 hitter is Andy, Sticky Finger with 100. So it's those guys are 1 and 2 right now, killing it. So good job. And they come in right away and get some fresh hits. So it really puts us on the positive when we can get several people that are killing it like that to get the fresh hits. So good job, guys. All right, let's move up, and it's looking like I'm hoping that I have all the numbers right here, but we're going to check out your hit on number 10 first.
Okay.
So we managed to get 4 11v11s. We were really close once again on a couple others, just couldn't get it. And, you know, I feel like 5 or 6 is kind of the magic number to get you a chance to get the 12v12. So, you know, we're going to do some practicing this week.
Yeah,
yep.
They had 6, we had 4. Yeah.
Okay, so again, you know, I do think it's the 5 or 6 to get you that magic number. But let's go ahead and check out your attack, and I'll let you talk this one through. I did help Evo plan and then kind of helped you walk it through. But let's go ahead and check it out at 3, 2, 1. All right, so here it is.
This was a minor hit. Yeah, it's just a kind of a queen charge minor.
Yep.
And I'm going to use the king. We'll see later on. Use the king with funnel on the southwestern side, but it just basically starts out with a little funnel with a whiz and a couple of archers on the corners, and then the queen's going to go down with her healers. And the desire is to get her to jump her into the queen, so she'll get the queen and the DC, right?
Yep.
So the baby dragon flanks her on the left for a couple things. One, help her get the stuff down quicker, but also it tanks that archer tower that is in front of the whiz tower. So she's not getting hit by a cannon and two archer towers, and taking more time to get through that with so it'd be an AD eventually, you know. So
yeah, we looked at that. We were kind of deciding, do we really need it or not? And then as you looked at it more, you realized, yeah, it helped to tank. So
it helped to tank a lot, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as the jump goes down, I know I'm going to be encountering the queen and the enemy CC, but before all that, you got to get your king down quicker, because the minor hit, you got to watch out for time.
Yep.
And you got to delay the poison a little bit and let that hound come up so you can poison the loon and the back end of the pups when the hound pops. And then once all that happens, you're pretty much set. We're going to have a nice little path for these miners here coming in around 5 o'clock. And I did an early heal because I wasn't sure if they got hit with the first warden or the first eagle drop.
Right.
So we did an early heal, and then right when they're going to just get everything just pelting them was a good time to do the warden ability, and the king, the number 10's king pulled me over to the left, so we put a heal down there and then put a heal on the slammer, which also had miners in it. So it's kind of going in stereo here, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
it kept my queen alive the whole thing.
I know it did, and that was the thing we weren't sure. We knew that the slammer was going to help up there. You know, we wanted it up there because of the sweeper, but also to tank that side of Expos, that bank, so that the miners weren't just getting drilled, and the queen. And it worked out. It worked out good. You know, great plan by Evo. We'll go ahead and just 2 times it here to finish it up. But nice vision for him, because when I first looked at this one, I was like, next. I can't even look at this one.
Right.
I don't like this one.
He had everything right. It's just some timing.
Yep.
And then some spell drops. It's just, but the army composition and everything, he had spot on.
Yep. It was perfect. So great job by you, Evo, and nice job by you to clean that one up. So let's go ahead and move it up to number 6 with Red Chief, aka Manos. And we'll check this one out in 3, 2, 1. So he is comfortable with a bunch of attacks, but this was one that I think somebody else hit it with a different attack, and I'm not going to remember right offhand. So it was hit one time before, and then he looked at it and said, you know what, I really like it for... you know, basically a P.E.K.K.A. smash, Peebo. Actually, you know what? It was only hit by a 10. So it was hit by a 10 E-clone. And it looked pretty promising, but there were a couple things that were a little bit concerning with it. So he felt like he would have a better opportunity to get it, you know, just with one more hit using Peebo, basically. And he's good at it. So he's got.
This was my favorite hit of the war, simply because he bowler bounced off the town hall.
I loved that.
Once you do that, it's the best thing ever.
I know, exactly. After that, it's all gravy, you know?
Yeah, it's all downhill, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as soon as I saw that, I was like, he saw the bowler bounce there? Because I don't always see, you know, little stuff like that. And he did really well.
Right.
I was a little bit worried, you know, when the queen went down to get the AD, that she was not going to come back up. But she did. She cooperated.
Right.
And, you know, we did know that it was Lalo, and they had a bunch of Lalo CCs. But you know, we felt like because the queen's going to be in there, that it'll be fine. You know, even when the hound pops, because he knew where he wanted to get his jumps through. He could keep the majority of his troops together. You know, that's another thing that a lot of times happens if you're not careful with your jumps, is that everybody can split, and then it really narrows them down. So, you know, and he does a great job here getting that slammer in to come at the IT, and he sees that the queen is going to go down there to get the sweeper, so that it's not going to be a problem. Right. And here you go. Just
delayed on that.
Yep.
And he brought some whiz behind the queen to
help with
take care of the pups.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Yeah, he did. And you can see he's still got a couple loons, a whiz. He still has his ability. The slammer's about ready to pop, and he doesn't have a spell for that. But and I know that there was another time that he did it and he didn't have a spell for it, and it works out fine. For me, sometimes I feel like I have to bring a haste. But look at this thing. It is still rocking and rolling. We'll just go ahead and 2 times it through because it's going to make it all the way through. So really great plan. I mean, you know, and he's another one. I think he's 50% right now. Didn't we look at that?
He is.
Yeah, so he's doing great, 11v11, 50%. Can't ask for more than that, so good job to you, buddy. Let's go ahead and move up to the last hit, number 5. And this is Andy coming in with a fresh hit, which was awesome. And it was our first 11v11. So let's check him out in 3, 2, 1. Okay, what is he doing? Look at him. He's been practicing all kinds of different attacks. And I know that the prof would be very happy seeing this one, because this was an E-clone. And he, you know, tells us all the time, hey, can you guys do a little E-clone, please? So here he comes in with the queen coming down at the bottom, and he's going to go ahead and get that AD.
Right.
Coming in through. Leading with the slammer, you got to have that Cocaloon in right there. And so it's going to come in.
Fresh.
Yeah, and he gets really great value. Watch this. And I'm much better with the slammer with the E-clone attack than anything. So he does a great job putting that in there, watch this, he's going to get both ITs. And he didn't know that. He was on voice with Steph planning this out, and he didn't even know that until, you know, Steph kind of told him, oh my gosh, you got both ATs. And you can see, or Infernos, you can see there is one grounded Expo. So, he knows that he can start at the bottom, just nice and easy with a couple loons. He doesn't need to put a hound down there because they're going to take out that no problem. And then he just comes around. Great job with the Lalo. Gets stuck in the tornado really quick with the hound. But it's actually good, right? Because he gets stuck and the loons don't.
Those hounds pulled all the traps, so they weren't directly on the loons. I mean, they went to the loons, but not... The loons didn't walk right into like red bombs and stuff.
Right. I mean, it was perfect placement for his hounds, is how it worked out. And look at how many loons he has up. It's just complete catastrophe on this base. And his king, he goes ahead.
Yeah, it's a good hit when you can use your king for cleanup.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't even have to use it at the beginning. He just used his queen at the beginning. So good job to you, Andy. And I know that felt good. That was his first 11v11 this season. So good job. So I think that's it. We couldn't, again, get a couple 12v12s, but we'll work on that and see if we can make that happen next time. So we'll be ready for next.
It didn't turn out the best, but I tell you what, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people in voice, and we had a lot of teamwork going on. Didn't turn our way, but we'll see about next week when we go Friday and Saturday against New Days.
Yep, New Days is up next, so we will be back here, same time, same place, to check out those videos. So thanks again, Chief, for helping.
You bet, Romy.
And we will catch you later. Peace.